All right, good morning, everyone. Rome here with Imagine Garage, and today we have a ton of upgrades to do on Send It Sally here. Basically, last time I drove this thing, it lost a rod. I've been on the same engine for about 3 years, M50 turbo, and we blew it up. It finally blew up. It let go. Boom! Sent a big rod out the side of the block, and then caught on fire. So we need to do some fire cleanup first of all. That's kind of our first thing on this. However, I'm going to do this in probably a different order than I probably should. So all this is all the fire suppression stuff and fire extinguisher because they didn't know where the fire was coming from. So they just dumped it on everything, which is okay. Put the fire out, didn't burn the car down. It did get a little toasty hot here, but most of it is pretty good. So it's something I get to clean up. I'm going to clean up this. I'm also going to clean up the engine bay. I've never had the engine out of this thing really for very long, so I'm going to drill all this stuff out, drill these out, cut this out. I might even cut this wheel arc. I don't know, and put a bar here, but I have to probably wait till the engine's in for that. But there's even stuff on this back side that I want to get all cleaned up. I mean, this car was never supposed to be a pro car or even a competition car. It was just supposed to be a fun car, and then ended up being a pro car. Or I guess a pro comp car type of thing. We use it in a hot pit car, whatever you want to call that. Some things could use some love, like this is my vacuum booster hose, which is pretty old and beat up. So that needs to be replaced. Couple things. And we also actually have to convert this thing over. So right now the car is drive-by cable, right? So it has a cable throttle body on it. And obviously a cable throttle. Now, I don't run a normal cable throttle because I don't like how the I don't like the floor mounted pedals on BMW. That's one of my biggest pet peeves is the thing on the right, the little gas pedal that mounts on the floor. So we cut that tab off, and I do a hanging pedal. For any of you guys know, you can probably guess what this pedal is, but yes, this is S13 pedal, and we just cut the weight off the top, so it's like fast and snappy. The pedal works amazing. It's super, super nice, but we want to go to drive-by-wire so we can do some anti-lag and some other cool things, and we're eventually going to run nitrous on this car as well. But we have to make sure we can get all this stuff in here. So we are going to be doing some wiring. I need to make a switch panel for the center console. If I have time, I'm going to be upgrading the e-brake as well. So right now we run this is the Part Shop Max e-brake. However, we have the brand new Wisefab e-brake. If you haven't seen one of these things, they're super cool. They're all billet. They come in 3 different colors. But this is something that I want to upgrade to as well, just so that they look really cool. We got a new cage for it, which is what these things are called, and it's double ball bearing. Look, Mike from Feel is calling me right now. So hold on, let me answer this, and then I'll get right back to it. Hello, buddy.
Sorry, I missed you. Did you mean to call me back, or was that an accident?
Yep, I have a quick question. So, kind of funny, it was literally time when we were talking about Wisefab parts, and that's Wisefab USA. So, we are ordering some other parts for the other car, so I just have to make sure everything's all on the, basically I made sure that I ordered the right parts, so I don't mess something up. But anyways, back to the pedal scenario. So, we are changing the pedal setup. The pedal we are going to is actually a modified IS300 pedal. No, I lied. Looks like an IS300 pedal. That part's IS300 looking. But this is an FRS pedal. The reason why we use FRS is because in the US it's FRS slash what are those other electric cars that everyone liked? I don't know. Toyota something. Can't think of the name of them. The one that had no brakes for a while that tried to kill people. This is the same one. Prius. There we go. Ha. Prius. So they're the same. And the reason why I like this is, check this out, is that basically what happens is that this is metal. So this rod down here is metal. Most of them on all the other cars I found so far is plastic. So I can't modify it. So this one's actually cut and modified. And I put it in a situation to where when I bolt it in, it'll bolt into the same direction or location that my other pedals are. And I just like this easier. It's easier to manipulate and move around. So this one is super cool. This is what we're going to be using. It's a Denso. Here we go. Denso part number. They're not much. They're like 30 or 40 bucks. There we go. They're like 30 or $40 online. And you get them, I don't know, a couple of days. It's not a big deal. But they're easy to work with. You can cut them. You can weld them. You can move them any direction you need to. So that's super helpful. So we're going to do this. as well. We have to clean up some intercooler stuff, to clean up the inside of some things. We got the wrap off of it. If you saw the last video, that was fun, but at least the car's all ready to go to wrap. But now need to do the fabric. Also, we need to install a digital display because we got a new display for this car, and an ECU in this car, and a chassis or an engine harness, which is back over here in the corner, so right there. So need to clean that up, take out the stuff I don't need, repin the stuff I do need for this engine. We're putting the M52 back in it, or M50 back in it. So it's an M50 punched out a little bit, so it's technically a 3.0. And what we do is we actually don't cut or do anything with the sleeves. We literally just add a 3.0 crank, or sometimes a 3.2 crank, to make it a 3-liter or a 3.2. We've tried the 3.2, but there seems to be a lot of vibration at 3.2, so we're going back to a 3.0 on this one. When I say a lot of vibration, if you use the right dampener on the front, then it's not really that big of a deal, but I did notice a significant difference in vibration on the last one to this one. So we're going back to a 3.0, and this thing's gonna rip. So give me a second, let me change in my little jumpsuit thing that I wear, and we're gonna start. I don't know where we should start. Cutting is always not the fun part to do, but it's kind of the most necessary. Let's start with taking the pedal out. We'll take the pedal out, we'll go to this, and then I'll kind of explain more of why I like these pedals. Once they're installed, you'll see how it works. So first part of this is you basically take this guy off, which is just the OEM throttle cable pull. We need to pop the 2 pins out right here that removes that like out of the back, which is pretty simple. And then I need to take the 2 bolts off of this for the 10s. So let me pull these guys out. There we go. And it's literally that simple to pull that guy out. And now I've got the new pedal. And I hope that the plate is big enough that I built that this thing will bolt on, which it looks like it will. So now this guy can literally just bolt onto this plate. I'm probably gonna have to mark and drill some holes, but at least we have a starting point and something that I can use without having to do a bunch of welding. So very, very nice there. The pedal is a little bit low actually, so I might have to bring it up and over. So I might still have to weld something to this, but at least we have a base to kind of start with. So anyways, there we go. Let me get this a little more dialed in, and kind of we'll come back to this in a second. So it looks like it does bolt in. The problem is that it only picks up one hole, and then the other one is way, way, way higher, like pretty significantly off the top. So I can do two things in this. I can either try and add metal to the top of that and weld it across and hope that it's in the right spot, or I can just add a new plate to this and then weld the plate to the plate I've already made. Now I know that's kind of the more janky idea, but that allows me not to have to cut the whole plate out. And if I ever want to go back to the other pedal, then I just cut the welds off of this plate, and I can go back to a mechanical pedal if I want to. So I'm going to basically just set this down on a piece of metal, draw this out, build a plate for it, and then we'll get it all kind of tacked in, and I'll show you guys what it looks like. So here's the rest of the basically drive-by cable scenario. So this guy's all out of the way, and now I can install. I got the pedal mount just welded in. Pretty simple. Just welded on top of the other plate. Yeah, it doesn't look amazing, but that means if I need to, I can just cut it off and put the other one back on. That way I didn't need to cut the trans tunnel and everything else. So pretty simple there, and it lines up to that bolt down there. So let me place that one on, and we'll see kind of how it sets up opposed to the rest of the pedals. All right, so and I made it easy enough that it should be, you just go boom, there, it's on. So if you have to replace a pedal, not a big deal. I need to paint it, but I wanted to see just how it feels, and it hits right there, it locks on. That basically this big like rubber plastic like bump thing on the back of this hits that piece of metal perfect. So it hits the little stock factory stud. So that should be good. It's adjustable, so I can thread that in or out if I need it. And then this guy goes on here and just goes boom, 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 boom. So we should be good. I'm going to take it off, paint it, and then yeah, slide it back on and bolt it on, and then we can kind of start putting the harness all together. But while this is out, and while we're messing with you know, cutting and grinding, because I don't like that part of it, we are also going to cut this guy. So this is the Part Shop Max Hydro. I've used this for many years. I enjoy it because it threads up and down, and I really don't have anything negative about it. A little bit of play in it, but nothing, you know, nothing too crazy. However, we are going to upgrade to the new Wisefab handbrake setup. And in order to do that, you need a couple pieces from Wisefab, which is this guy, which is a handle. This is the short handle. I tried to use this on the other car, and it was actually too short. So I recommend, if you guys are going to order a handle, probably order the large one or the longer one or whatever they call it. I think it's a little bit better suiting for a lot of these things. And then this is the cage. While I was waiting for that to kind of cool down, I drew out a template. So basically I'm just going to cut this template out so that I have something to bolt this guy to, so it's removable. And then I'm going to weld this plate in place of where all of that bracketry and all that other stuff is. So basically that is the full setup. You got this guy, you got the cage, and you have this. The nice part with it is that they still use a Willwood setup. So when I need to bolt it all on, I don't need to actually bleed anything. I just bolt it onto this, and I unbolt it off of the PPM one. So bolt it right on here, boom. It now has the right angle and everything, like the trajectory of the rod now goes the right way and swings nice and fluently. And it's on some big carrier bearings, like these are some pretty heavy duty bearings here. So that's really nice. And then this guy goes in there, in here. So let me cut this out first, drill it all out, get it kind of mocked up, so to speak, and let me cut and remove this one out of the car. After cutting around here and around here on both sides, then it just simply goes, ooh, and it's almost off. There we go, now it's off. So the only issue is that I forgot to take this off. So let me pull these 2/13s off, and then we will be able to be able to pull this master just out of the way with this pin. So I was able to remove it, and then you just have to remove this middle one. There we go, and then it comes out like that. This guy is kind of, you know, it's all free now. This is the Part Shop Max one. Really not a bad unit. I like it. I used it for many years. It's pretty cool. It's adjustable handle. I just wanted to upgrade to the new Willwood, or sorry, the new Wisefab. So we're keeping the Willwood back half on it. So that's nice and simple. I need to take the bolts out of it to be able to use that setup. And this guy is just gonna kind of chill, sitting here, floating in the air right now. Just because it's on a hard line. So I'm gonna slowly bend the hard line kind of out of the way. I don't want to mess it up because it was so good to me for so long and it doesn't leak. So we're gonna leave it like that. And then I just need to figure out what plate I need to make to fit here to replace this whole little setup. I wish I had the shifter in here because that is definitely a dilemma of where it needs to go as far as shifting. But we should be okay either way. I'm just gonna make sure it's in the same spot. Also, I need to put the dash back in before I can actually weld it all up, and the steering wheel to make sure it's not too close. So a couple of things, but basically need to make the plate first. So have the plate have the whole thing assembled first of all. Then I have the plate built and assembled as well. It's like a little arrow. And basically this guy, it'd be different on each application, but this guy is gonna go right back in the same location as it was. So it's gonna go like this and set right there, something like that, somewhere right around there. So that'll go there. I gotta put the dash in just to make sure that it fits in the right spot, but it's easy to get to these bolts because they have this kind of gap here, and it's easy to get to those bolts because they're in the back. And I cut them down so you can still get them out even if it's all welded in. So it actually doesn't take up too much more space, maybe another 1/2 inch, and you know, just kind of looks a lot better, and a little bit less play, and quite nice. So I'm gonna get the steering wheel in, I'm gonna get the dash in, and then I can weld it in. I just want to make sure everything's set up and the plates are cut and everything is ready to weld before that. But it looks like it's quite good. So let me put the dash in real fast, then we'll show you what it looks like. So actually, a little update. Before I put the dash back in, I want to reseal the Garagistic plate, the one that goes through the firewall. Just because that thing, the seal is super, super old. So I just got some random Home Depot stuff. I actually just had it in my pile of randomness over there. So I'm just gonna put this in there to kind of help reseal that structure around the circle, and then I'll bolt that back on, then we can slide the dash in. So I blocked it all off and got this one all tightened up, and now it has all new padding in here, so it seals watertight all the way around. And why that's important is when the fire happened, it actually melted part of that and tried to come inside. But this firewall, like the little garagistic plate, literally protected it from coming inside. So that was super, super good. I did not want fire inside the car. Little, you know, throwback little AFI, no fire inside. But we have that. It looks like this now, so it's all blocked back off and taken care of. So now it's sealed back off and ready to go. Before I put the e-brake in, actually, I was going to do the gas pedal or throttle pedal, whatever you want to call it. The funny thing is, I know I'm going to get a lot of comments back and forth on this guy. Maybe give me, you know, kind of give me your opinion on this. There we go, on this guy. So there's plus and minuses from this, from being a electric pedal versus a cable pedal. Okay, so after getting it mounted, I think after sitting in it, I actually want it. I think I want it a little bit higher. Like I know these are pretty big boots though, but I need it. I think I want it up that way higher. So instead of trying to move all of that stuff and cut it back out, I'm just going to trim a piece out of this. Plus then a little bit shorter throw. So I'm just going to trim a piece out of that so that it comes down and hits where I want it to hit, because it hits here fine. It's just a little low when I'm looking at the pedals. It could have just been the angle I was at when I was welding it, or I could have just slipped and welded it too far down. Lots of problems. But instead of trying to cut all this out, because I just really don't want to do that, I'm just going to modify this bar just to get it set up, because actually this is about the right height. This is where this needs to be, but this is still too low. When it pushes like that, I end up on top of the pedal, like there. It's kind of hard to see, so that much up. So if I move it this much up, which isn't a whole lot, so maybe an inch up here, then it would be better, because I think if I move that an inch up, yeah, if I move that an inch up, I think I'm going to have a problem with it in the end being too high. I could be wrong. Don't know. Now I'm kind of debating it. Do I just move this up and build a bigger plate for the bottom, or do I just cut that and move that up the inch that I want to move it up and leave it alone there? So let me figure this out. I will make a decision quickly. Okay, so decision has been made. I am going to just cut the bar and move it up an inch. Bear with me a second. Let me modify this thing. Okay, so I set a couple welds on it, and I think we'll be good now. It's not cleaned up or pretty by any means, but at least we can try it and see see how it is. It's kind of hard to weld too, because as you weld it, you don't want it to get too hot, because it'll mess up the plastic bracket that it's actually bolted onto, or like crimped onto. So you kind of got to be a little careful with that. But now it appears, I mean, if I could get a bolt on it, it appears that it's in the right location. Cool. So now it appears that it's at about the right level. You push the brake, boom, come over to here. The pedal stop doesn't work, but that's okay. I can always just build something up there to make that part work. However, I feel like it's a lot better. Whoa. There we go. I think it was a lot better option than what I had going on before, because the other option was cutting that whole bracket out, and this only took like, I don't know, 2 minutes of real time to do it. So here, yeah. So pop, 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 pop. You still come over this way. You can get it there. So whatever has to happen, boom, we got it. It's easy to get to. Very, very easy. So much better. Glad I did it. So yeah, now I just know that I need to kind of match the center of the pedal, not the top of the pedal. And yeah, we should be good. Boom, just enough to get the corner, get the top if you have to, sideways, and throttle. So I need to make a bump stop now, or something to limit it so I don't break it off when I get excited. And not sure how I'm going to do it. I will figure that out. Probably just extend that bump stop down there up to a plate. Okay, so after thinking about it for a second, I realized that the best piece that would go down there that would make it big enough and hit perfect is actually the Garagistic clutch stop part. So I just ordered one of those. I'll probably have it here tomorrow. But for right now, just so I don't mess this up and, you know, over pedal anything or break the mount off, I'm just going to put the stud in. You basically go down till it touches and then add another like 2 or 3 turns up so that it hits before the pedal maxes out. You can always zero out the pedal, but if you don't do that, then you're going to be putting extra load on this whole plastic mechanism up here. I don't want anything to break, so that's how I end up setting them up. But once I get the black one, I will show you how I kind of update to the better Garagistic setup. But this will work for right now. I'm just going to put this guy in, and then as long as it all works, actually, let's see. It just simply screws in like this. Well, there we go. Probably should show you guys what I'm actually doing. And if you look, it does hit. It kind of misses the side a little bit, but it does hit. So you just kind of keep going in until it sits pretty flat with it. So right there, it almost doesn't hit. Let's see. Yeah, there it doesn't hit at all. So that's too far in. So you got to come back a little bit. Still doesn't hit. Now it hits. And then you just take the jam nut. There you go. Take the jam nut, lock the jam nut down. Boop. Good to go there. And then now you have a pedal stop. So you can bang on that all you want. But I'm going to put a Garagistic one because it just makes more sense to do that. So anyways, I'm going to pull the pedal off real fast. Clean this up, paint it so that's all black, but at least the pedal's all in and good to go. From here, now I can put the dash in and start on the hydro and the e-brake setup. So I've had kind of a weird turn of events. So after I got the dash in, this assembly sits too close to the dash with it all set up. So I have to figure out basically the bolts in the back that I thought I was going to be able to get to. These guys, you can't really get to them when it's pulled out, you know, as far as it needs to be. So what I'm going to do is take the leftover pieces that I have from up here. There we go. The leftover pieces that I have from up here, which are these guys. And I'm going to take the back ones off completely. So these ones off completely, and then I'm going to weld these as studs into the back side like that. So this is going to be a stud, and the front can just be normal bolts. But yeah, that's kind of a weird scenario that I have to do now, but that's what we're going to do, and then we'll get this all welded in and then put it all back together. So let me take this apart and see how far I can get on it from this way. So this is literally the piece that I cut off. So I cut the studs off that were too long. And then I'm going to insert them this way. Put the nuts on the back of them. And then weld them into place. So it's kind of funny that I used the part that I cut off was going to be trash. Is now the actual part that we need. The actual stud part. There we go. See? And then bolt it on to make sure it's flat. Weld them all in. Be ready to go. All right, so I now have the new shape of this guy. So instead of being kind of like a weird arrow, now it's just like a squared off little, whatever you want to call this thing. And there, so it goes. Now there's no bolts in the bottom that I can take off, but it is flat studs. I just TIG welded just 4 little circles basically to make sure that the studs can't pull through. So just left that nice and easy. And then this will go on and give me more clearance and give me the gap I need to be able to push it all the way forward so it doesn't hit the dash. So let's jump inside. Check it out. Okay, so now I got this thing all like tacked in basically. This is exactly where it needs to sit, right here. It still sits on our stock little like drop down that we built the first time. So I'm gonna get it all welded in and then go back and put the e-brake on to see how it lines up and how it mocks up. But I think this is gonna be solid. And I put these on just so that I don't damage the threads if any weld hits them, because I don't wanna take it all back apart and cut it. Too much work. So should be good. I'm gonna send a little bit of weld here, a little bit of weld on this side, like basically this way, and then a little bit on the back, and then around here as much as I can get it clean, and that should be it. It should not have to, you shouldn't be pulling it so hard that you're tearing metal off. especially not 1/8" plate. All right, let's get working. Okay, so I got it all welded in. Yeah, it's probably not the most beautiful of welds, but it's all welded in. So welded in, good to go. Now I'm gonna let it cool down because it's still smoldering hot. Shoot it with a little bit of Steelit, and then I can go ahead and put the e-brake on and make sure everything lines up. So yeah, we're just gonna let it cool down. Then I have to make sure that handbrake thing works too in the back, because we had to change the length of that shaft, or cut that shaft down to work with the Part Shop Max one. So I don't know if it's the same length. So I'm hoping that the little like clevis thing reaches and matches it, because if not, then that's a whole nother thing, and I get to take it apart. If I take it apart, then that's gonna defeat the purpose of being able to just swap it out easy. So let me, yeah, let's let this cool down, then I'll start working on that part. Okay, so got it all secure, mounted up. This one, you just kind of snug this down. I mean, I can still spin it by hand, so that it doesn't need to be super tight, it seems like. There's absolutely no play in it side to side. So this way, literally, I mean, I can bend the whole thing, but there's no jiggle, no movement at all. This way, there's this much, which is forward backwards, which is where it engages with the hydrant, starts pulling, but that's about it. I might have to change, because this leverage is a lot easier to pull, I might have to change the master. This is a 0.75 master. I might have to go to like a 0.68 or something, because, or 0.65 or whatever the next smallest one is, so that it moves farther, because this is, I mean, it only moves, so from here it only moves to there, which it looks like a lot, but it's not. My other one like kind of engages back here, so this is, it engages very, very low. So I don't know, this is also the shorter handle, so if I have the handle that's a little bit taller, I think it'll feel a little bit better. I like my e-brakes to be above the center line for sure, which this is, but you know, a little bit higher would probably be a lot better for me on just the overall feeling. But so far I have the pedal set up. This thing feels amazing. I can get to it in any way, even in big boots. And now the new Wisehab handle and hydro, which looks amazing, feels good. I'm sure it'll feel great with gloves and everything on. It's like a very reassuring feeling, and feels like you're pulling something that's super solid. The base doesn't seem flexy at all. I mean, I can't even move it by really pulling on it. So this part should be fine with how it locks up and how it bolts in. So that's nice and secure. And yeah, it's good to go. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. This is like, I don't know, stage 1 of Send It Sally's full rebuild, come back to life scenario. I have a lot more to do, of course. We have a bunch of wiring and a bunch of other things. But as far as today's video, this is about it. Hopefully you guys learned a little bit about hydros and the different stuff in gas pedals. And now you can choose if you want to go electric or mechanical. Both options are very good. I know a lot of the pro drivers have gone back and forth many, many times. So there is a big benefit from being all electric, and there's a big benefit from being mechanical. Mechanical basically doesn't fail. It's very easy to manipulate, and you can just weld it to change the throw that you want. Electric, you can program the throw that you want, but there is more likelihood of it failing. However, if you have a really good tuner, you can trick the ECU into doing things to not recognize failure in the pedal. I don't know exactly how to do it, but there is ways of doing that, and that's something that you could do as well. So then even if it sees a failure, it still works. Because with an electric pedal, when it fails closed, so the car doesn't run away from you, and normally it fails at a bad time. That's why people will go up into the wall and just total a car. So kind of good and bad on both sides. So you guys get to choose which one you want, but thank you guys for watching. I sincerely appreciate it. Subscribe. We're going to do more of these videos. I'll show you as I'm building up for Hot Pit coming up very, very shortly. I have about another day, maybe 2 more days to work on this car, and then we're off to the races. So yeah, stay with us. We'll have more of these videos, and hope you enjoy it all. I'm doing it because I love filming it, and I love building race cars. So enjoy. Imagine Garage, build your dreams. Let's send it.